All right, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakorash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wa'akwath, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Another video through the Spirit, your brother Malak from GMS Detroit. And I don't fully recall, but I very well did a video similar to this some time ago. I just don't remember. But hey, I'm just giving the inspiration for this video, right? Last night, had me a little snack after the workout. I had me some famous, when got me famous Amos cookies, right? I'm like, these proceeds is going to help, some Jake, right? But then I had to remember. I said, wait a minute, Amos don't own these cookies no more. This dude got bought out by Esau. He had to sell the company, per usual. And as the title is going to be, why do black business and enterprise fail? Latino, Native American, right? You can add them too, the Israelites. Why is it that the so-called minorities, those three groups specifically, why is it that everything that we need in this world, somebody else owns it? Even our own so-called countries. Mexico is ran by the UEs, right? The small hats. Many of the South American countries have small hat presidents, right? I did that video some time ago, some weeks ago, with the precious stones, the green ones. I forget the name. I believe the emeralds, right? The emerald mining industry is ran by those Amalekites, right? Northern Kingdom is down there beating each other to death in those mines trying to get them. Why is it that these three groups of people are so disenfranchised? And whenever we do try to do things the right and the legal way, why do so-called white people come financially force us up out of our shit? Whether it be by a straight up takeover, or they put us in a situation to sell the company or foreclose upon it, then they take it over and don't give us any of the proceeds nor credit. Why is that a recurring situation for our people? Is it are we just a bunch of bumbling financial idiots? We're completely business incompetent. We're not business savvy. It's because of the curses. And we're going to see this didn't only happen to Amos, but I'm going to use two other people to show you that. I'm going to get the scriptures here in a second. But why do we live in a world where no matter how hard you try as a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, why do you have to fight against an oppressive system to prosper? Why do we always have to, when we're giving an announcement, right? When we're receiving a reward, when we go up to the stage, why are we always thankful that we had to fight through the hardships? What are the hardships that we had to fight through? Why are people telling us no to this loan, to that? Why are you being forced to live in the hood? Why are you a descendant of somebody who did something great, yet you grew up in poverty? Why? Because of the curses. All right. One reason among many. And here it is, you have these Christians, them scoffers, all they go to is Deuteronomy 28. It's not all we go to, you fucking cocksucker. It's one of the big ones, right? That's one of the big ones. But our entire belief system isn't dedicated upon Deuteronomy 28. And guess what I'm still about to do? Go to Deuteronomy 28. How about that? This is Deuteronomy 28. Now, this is a curse that came upon the Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are in a position to where we perpetually have to rely upon our enemies for our survival in all things. We will not be able to sustain ourselves nor break free from the what's that word? Lariat. Yup. From the lariat. The double lariat that the so-called white man has us in. A strong line that we cannot pass. Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. The people that are around us, the heathen nations, they find themselves more economically better off than we do. And we constantly have to rely on them for our food, for our shelter, paying rent, going to the store. Whose store is it? Who was Walmart? The Wall family. Were they Negroes? No. Taking it back up a little bit. And I'm going to play the clips here in a second, y'all. Got to lay the groundwork. Deuteronomy 28:15, it says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, thy power to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store." And that's one of the big ones. Our basket and our store is cursed. Our ability to provide business and prosperity for ourselves is cursed. It always falls through. It always collapses. Brothers will make a joke. Hey, them brothers in LA, they have a joke about a particular spot. Jake will open up a restaurant there, and in 3 to 6 months they end up closing. And that's the same thing everywhere. We got spots like that in Detroit. A nigga open up a fried chicken joint. They there for 9 months, gone. Same thing everywhere. Open up a soul food joint, gone. Jake could try to open up a healthy joint. It might be there a year and a half, gone. Why is it like this for us? Now let's see what happened to Famous Amos, man. They not even, man. Shit pisses me off.
Favorite snacks and sweet treats. From Little Debbie's to Rice Krispies, candy bars, etc. Most of us have our sugary weaknesses that we just can't seem to stay away from. One of the most popular dessert options in America is the good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie, which has been a staple in America for centuries. From freshly baked versions to the store-bought brands, cookies have long been considered one of the most popular sweet treats. One of the most iconic cookie brands in America would be none other than the classic Famous Amos cookies. Famous Amos cookies were patented by Wally Amos Jr., who followed his Aunt Della's
These were patented by him. So how is it in the possession of another man? Esau, I thought patents were permanent. Come on.
recipe with a few changes. The brand would become one of the biggest brands in the world, but Wally Amos nor his family would never reap the full benefits from the brand due to bad business decisions. Many now know the story of Famous Amos as the story of brilliant ideas, but bad business moves, which ultimately cost Wallace and his family much of the wealth created with the Famous Amos brand. Wally Amos Jr. was born on July 1st, 19...
So we're right there, right? So we heard that bad business decisions, right? So we're going to fast forward. So, he had all the talent in the world, but he wasn't a business guru, and Esau, here it is. If he's so righteous and just, why not help the man and let him keep his business? You shouldn't even if he offered to sell it to you, why would you? Come on, ain't no good Edomites. Stop it. So we're going to fast forward. All right, so I'm going to just let it play from right here, get a little bit of history on it. The main point that I want is coming up in a second, but I'll let y'all see if you didn't know.
Top cookie brands in the United States. The first year of business reportedly bringing over $300,000 in revenue. By 1982, the company was now worth tens of millions of dollars and was indeed one of the top cookie brands in the United States. In the decade of 1975 to 1985, the cookie was endorsed by many celebrities and regular customers alike for the high-quality ingredients in the cookies as well as the diverse set of flavors. The signature picture of Wally in his straw hat and cotton shirt became synonymous with delicious.
And that's one thing that stands out to me, y'all. They don't even have that picture anymore on the brand. Completely removed him from it. So there's no, it's all Edomized and corporatized now.
Cookies, and played a pivotal role in the establishment and maintenance of the Famous Amos brand. Wally gained a level of celebrity due to both the success of his brand and his Hollywood connections. He made guest star appearances in some of the biggest shows at the time, including Taxi and The Jeffersons, and occasionally hosted block parties in which the likes of Muhammad Ali and Andy Warhol attended. Wally was a great marketer and a great baker, but he wasn't the best at making business decisions, something which would eventually result in him having to sell the Famous Amos brand in order to keep it alive. Bad investments, along with other money mismanagement and declining sales by 1984, are said to have been the main reasons why Amos decided to sell parts of his business. An excerpt from the aforementioned History Channel states, Amos struggled to keep up with the brand's rapid growth. By 1985, Famous Amos reported a $300,000 loss on sales of $10 million. He wasn't a businessman. He was an amazing marketer and had great promotional instincts, but he made a lot of bad decisions. Amos continued to raise money while diluting his own equity. At one point, he lost his home. In 1985, Amos sold a majority stake to Bass Brothers Enterprises for $1.1 million. He sold it to save it, his son Sean said. He's always been impulsive. A lot of entrepreneurs are. That same spark that can drive you to take a chance prevents you from listening to others. You think you're infallible. The company ownership would be in the hands of various leaders in 1988 through 1991 until being purchased by President Baking Company in 1992 for $61 million, 55 times what Wally sold his controlling stake.
So it ended up, after he lost out on it, another man profited off of it by $61 million. They said 55 times more than what he sold it for. What did he sell it for? $5 million or something like that? No, millions, right? You build a whole empire, and these people make 55 times the amount more of what you made off of. Why is this a common trend? This ain't the only so-called Negro, Latino, Native American that this happened to. I did a video some weeks back with the guys who stole the recipe for Taco Bell, right? The Taco Bell recipe down there in Cali. It came from a Mexican family. The restaurant is still there. I did it not even maybe 2 months ago. The Mexican family, they have that restaurant. You had a guy, and something was last name Bell. He had a burger restaurant, wasn't doing so hot. Went to his favorite taco joint. The Issacharites saw him all sad and depressed, right? And eventually ended up, they get to talking, learning, trading business ideas. And them feeling bad for him, they gave him the secret taco recipe. What he go do? Make a whole, multi-billion dollar empire out of it. That Mexican restaurant is still sitting there. It's cool. It gets, it's visitors, but you see what I'm saying? They missed out on billions, which we're not here to make money, right? I'm just highlighting how this is perpetual cycle upon our people, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Israelites. We come up with the idea, we create the foundation, and then we get screwed out of it. While you die in pain and poverty, and your posterity getting sent off to suffer in this roller coaster hellhole, and their posterity goes to live on in luxury and absolute prime decadence. Ain't you tired of that cycle?
For showing just how much money Wally could have made. During these years, the production of the cookies changed, and preservatives were added to give them a longer shelf life, and they were redistributed as more affordable than before, prompting Wally to step entirely away from the brand as he didn't like the processed food aspect.
So not only that, they changed them into processed cookies. So that's why, even though they're still right, they're good, right? They're GMO'd up, sugared out. You'll love them, but it's not the original baked version that he had created.
You can't compare a machine-made cookie with a handmade cookie. In 1992, when Wally...
You can't compare a handmade cookie with a machine-made cookie, y'all. And that's how Esau does. Shows up, takes over, completely changes everything about whatever the original was. While you're way off the worst. But once again, that's the scriptures. Coming back here it is. You set it up, but they take it over. And Esau, you so-called, you white Christians, you white anti-Christians, racist Christians, right? Why don't you have an answer for any of these things? If you're all such good people, why do you allow your fellow white man to practice such tactics upon the minorities? Why don't you teach your people to love Jesus and stop oppressing the planet Earth? But you want to come over here and dog us. Y'all niggas can eat dicks and die. All right, as far as I'm concerned. Let's go. So I read those two patches of verses. I want to jump down to verse 48. One way or another, we end up at the bottom, and we end up in a servile position. According to what? The curses, the prophecy. Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. We literally were slaves here. And we needed, in order to survive, right? Hey, these devils, they housed us, they clothed us, they allowed us our daily bread, and they worked us like dogs. And then they destroyed our minds by feeding us spiritually, feeding us doctrines that is outside of what was given to us by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And now we remain in this broken estate, this perpetual cycle. Why is it always like this for us?
2. When Wally attempted to start another cookie company named Wally Amos Presents Hazelnut Cookies, he was sued by the new famous Amos owners for trademark infringement and now realized his own name and likeness was no longer his to use. Wally commented on the incident stating, "I was stupid, plain and simple. I sold the company and didn't realize I had sold my future along with it." Afterwards,
Boom. So right there. Now, what type of a man is this? This man claims to be just. He claims to, be right and holy. Now, granted, right, what this man did was dumb. But let's walk it back. You're sincerely ignorant of how business works. Okay, I have one business, it fails. You go to make up another business. Oh, nope, you can't do that because it's under the same name. Huh? But I'm speaking what's the word? Hypothetically, right? I'm me. What do you mean the business is under? I'm finna make a new business. Well, that previous business still has your name attached to it, so you can't make this new business with your name. Least you want to be sued. That's the world you live in today, y'all. This silly clown shit. Here it is. The man originally patented the cookies. The fucking recipe came from Auntie. Hey, Auntie. And now who owns it? The fucking devil does. The devil you know. Always. And we continually find ourselves in this position. Him over us and us down bad, being oppressed. Come on, man. It's no coincidence. All right, I got a couple just showing you that, our people put in hard work, right? And here it is. They tell us we're lazy. They tell us we're stupid. Well, when you get a nigga who does something great, what does Esau Edom, the so-called white man, end up doing? Taking the idea from him, one way or another. So we're just in a conundrum. Double fuck catch 22. What can you do? Micah 6. Yep. Micah 6 and 15. It says, which ultimately this is a punishment for our wickedness, which is it's alluding to here in Micah. This is the Heavenly Father has allowed the heathen to get up over us like this because of our wickedness. Nevertheless, you heathen are the authors of it. Micah 6 and 15. Thou shalt sow, but thou shalt not reap. Thou shalt tread the olives, but thou shalt not anoint thee with oil and sweet wine. But thou shalt not anoint thee with oil and sweet wine, but thou shalt not drink wine. Right. This shows you that we're servants. We're doing the physical labor that it takes to gain things in this world, but we do not receive the profit nor benefit. We milk the cow, but who does the cow go to? Master. You spend 12, 13, 14 hours at the job, and all the things that you did, who's making the millions off of it? The company, not you. You get your crumbs. This is the position that we find ourselves in, worldwide and still to this day. Zechariah, where is it at? Was it Zechariah or was it Zephaniah? Give me 1 second, y'all. Let's do probably looking right at it. Okay, so let's go to Zephaniah. Give me 1 second, y'all, and I'll get the next clip. Yep, right there. Yep, 13. Looking right at it. Zephaniah 1 and 13. Therefore, and this is showing you, we were going to get invaded, right? Everything taken from us. But this is Zephaniah 1 and 13. It says, therefore their goods shall become a booty, and their houses a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. Once again, we do the hard work. We do the crafting. And this is, in ancient times, this, we were a farmer shepherd people. So these are actions that we did. In today's time, what does it represent? The physical actions that we do to build up this man's society. In America, Northern Kingdom, down there, Mexico, South America, the different parts of where we are worldwide. This ain't exclusive to America. We experience this worldwide. We create, it's taken, we die poor and pain, while those who take it profit massively from our backs. Why does this keep happening? Let me get another example with your boy real quick.
So here's the story behind why the legendary artist Prince changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol. Back in 1993, Prince shocked the world by changing his name to an unpronounceable symbol. While fans thought it was another eccentric move, the more speculative and debated reason was his battle with Warner Brothers Records. The label owned the rights to his music and limited how often he could release albums. Frustrated, Prince allegedly declared his change being a way to divorce himself from the past and reclaim artistic freedom. The symbol, a blend of male and female gender icons.
So he's going off with that, but just keep watching.
Represented unity and individuality. To the media, it was chaos. How do you write or say a symbol? Warner Brothers sent out floppy disks with the image, and Prince's name was written as the artist formerly known as Prince. By the late 90s, he regained control of his music and returned to using the name Prince. His bold move remains one of music history's most iconic stands for creative independence.
Right, so hey, you older brothers and sisters, you may remember this, right? You have, Prince the artist. He had that situation go on, right? Say, hey, he probably, when he died, he probably landed right next to Michael. He couldn't even use his own namesake, right? Had to come up with a whole nother identity. The stupid little games we have to play in this fucking world. But once again, I thought this was isn't this a just society? Why would this place subject you to having to do such a things? Here it is, you created it, but now you can't profit off of it. You have to make a new name and all this and all that. And in the end, you still lose. They still make all the millions of billions. The name change really don't help. But why do this ain't the only guy to go through this. Why do we keep finding ourselves in this position? We create, they take. Why? Because we're the Israelites and we're suffering from the curses given to us by the Heavenly Father for our disobedience. So in the same token that we go through these curses, in that same token, He's going to bless us. And that's the part, y'all, that they don't like. See, it's fine and dandy when they benefiting off of us, but it's not fine and dandy when we're promised that payback. Let me get one more clip with my mans.
Now, your name is Marvelous.
Marvelous.
Yeah, I called you Marvin. Now,
Right.
when did you change your name?
The last guy that called me Marvin, I tell you, he didn't look too good.
What made you decide to do it legally? 'Cause that's a big step.
I was fighting a guy named Caveman Lee, and I seen on the monitor just before the fight as I'm going out, and it had Marvin Hagler. I says, wait a minute, if you could call Sugar Ray Leonard, put his name Sugar on there, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad. I said, this guy Caveman Lee, what about Marvelous Marvin Hagler? He says, your name is too long. I says, what do you mean? Put it on top, Marvelous, then Marvin Hagler underneath.
Yeah.
He says, well, we don't allow it like that. He says, and if you want it changed, he says, you go to court and get it changed legally. So I ran into this guy again. He says, Marv, he says, I'm sorry about what happened. He says, you did just that, didn't you? I said, that's right. And I said, if you don't put Marvelous down, it's going to be me and you, fella.
So right here, Marvelous Marvelin Hagler. And there was a certain, I've watched a documentary. There was a particular guy, I ain't calling no nigga Marvelous. So he had to legally change his name to Marvin. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So that they had to announce him as that rather than it being his nickname. Why are we in this constant bubble of oppression, fighting against this man's system. Don't you want us to be marvelous? He's not doing anything illegal. Why not help the man? Why not make his life easier? Why? Because you're a bunch of fucking devils and demons. That's why. Even in let me go find it. Nigga, even in cartoons we're oppressed. God damn it.
You can afford to dream big
Let me
with
show you.
Credit Karma's all-in-one money app.
Show y'all
Find
this
ways
clip,
to
man.
take your credit.
So we just gonna fast forward. This is from the TV show Static Shock. You younger brothers and sisters might remember this. Come to find out, this is one of the most award-winning children's shows out there. TV shows, right? Cartoons. It got hella awards. It was Emmy nominated, right? 4 seasons. It was doing hella good. But they didn't even want to make let me find it real quick. Let me find it. These motherfuckers, bro. Esau's such a son of a bitch.
In 2003, the main concern was that the static.
But we all know exactly what is in the premise.
And other merchandise distributors.
Okay, right here. Here we go.
Well, if it's
From toys, clothing, or 4 seasons, primarily because of low merchandise sales. Due to the
So eventually they said they closed it down because of low merchandise sales. Well, why was this successful show about a young black superhero? Why was it having low merchandise sales? Let's go see.
costs of Western animation at the time, the only way for a show to make profit was via revenue from toys, clothing, and other typical merchandise tied to a hit series. Static Shock was unable to grab the interest of a lot of toy companies and other merchandise distributors.
well, if it's a cartoon, we got to get a toy. So they went to the toy company and brought the character designs and the premise and everything. And the toy company said, nah, we don't really see a market for a character like that. But we all know exactly what they meant. That decision to not have merch was one of the reasons that after 4 seasons of being the top rated show on that Saturday morning network thing, Static Shock got canceled because it wasn't making them no extra money.
No, you get your goddamn ass out of here. And there it is, not even 5 seconds. The Americans are ruthless as usual. Racism is running amok out there. They definitely are going to have to find a better way to hold that racism in. It is getting blatant.
At San Diego,
So hey, they made a joke out of it. But straight up, they didn't want you to have little black toys. They didn't want your young sons having something that looks like them to make them feel good about themselves, y'all. So they didn't let them. Nobody was making their toys so the show would go down. So it doesn't matter which angle, nigga. I could do this all night. Every way we try to climb up, this man is there to stomp and snuff us out. We do all this work and we get no benefit. So what's the only thing left, y'all? Hey, we need Yahweh Shai, the son of Yahweh, to return and to destroy this place and to deliver us, because this is not our rest, y'all. We will always find ourselves swallowed up and devoured by these heathen. There's only one way out, and that's through our Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And then we will finally be able to permanently have stay in the good life. All right, so that's it, y'all. And give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim wa Akwa, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom.